Hey, everybody, it's your old pal Eric Zane for one of my new favorite sponsors, ExpressVPN. Look, going online without ExpressVPN, listen to this illustration. It's like leaving your laptop unattended at the coffee shop when you run to the bathroom. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I might actually do that. Anyway, most of the time you're probably fine, but what if one day you come out of the bathroom and the laptop is gone? You're like, oh, no. Anyway, the question might be easy. What is ExpressVPN all about? Look, every time you connect to an unencrypted network, cafes, hotels, airports, etc., your online data is not secure. Any hacker on the same network can gain access and steal your personal data, passwords, bank logins, you name it. And it doesn't take much technical knowledge to hack someone. Don't believe me? Look it up. Just some cheap hardware is needed. A smart 12-year-old could do it. My God. Your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 a person selling personal info on the dark web. ExpressVPN stops hackers from stealing your data by creating a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. Tunnels are good. Now, it's true. It would take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to get past ExpressVPN's encryption. And I didn't just pull that out of my you-know-what. Easy to use. Fire up the app and click one button to get protected. Every time I take my show on the road, I depend on ExpressVPN. I don't want my stuff exposed to some scumbag. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Zane. That's expressvpn.com/Zane. And you get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/Zane. All right. I know. Give me a break. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here. The current time being in the Impact Power Sports Fear Bunker studio. I want to show you something. By the way, I have a very limited workspace. Somebody, by the way, posted a nice funny thing on the subreddit about that my face is so close. It's like the equivalent of Count Chocula's face being right up to the camera. These are my notes today. I didn't have anything to anything to write with. Patrick says it's not Count Chocula, it's the Count. You're right, the Count. So what I want to talk about today is written down here. It says late ivy, smell, penny, Cheadle. And it's written in a fucking crayon, or crown, as some people say. Is that not absurd? It's so stupid. By the way, today at 2 p.m., I will be on with Christian Blatt for another edition of Who Are These Broadcasters? There's a possibility that might be fucked up. It might just have to be Husey filling in for me because I'm just worried about my setup here. Like I feel like right now that I'm barely just getting by with this setup. And I'm afraid that like Chris says, that'll go well with the lag. Well, I don't know if it will lag. I mean, Twitch may lag, but StreamYard, Twitch, and I use a different, what's it called? Stream something. I forget. It doesn't matter what the fucking name it is, idiot. We'll see. So I'll be testing it extra early, and if it fucks up, then I'll just have somebody else do it. But I'm really late today, and a little bit more about that. It honestly, this is what I meant. This was the example that I was trying to explain, that everything here is slower, and I have to take great care when I'm here. because the dogs can get, like, if Darla gets loose, I won't catch her. I have to trick her to get her back in the Fear Bunker North. So I had to take her out for a walk, and it was just, everything slowed me down. And then I had to make sure that all my show planning was appropriate because I didn't do as great of a job in my show planning yesterday. So I got to make sure I get this done today. You know, my work ethic is second to none. There is no one who works harder than EZ and is prepared as EZ. I am the greatest, as you know. But anyway, here's a cup to you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your patience. Jeremy says, it sounds great. It's just a video that's choppy. Yeah, I actually have a pretty good setup here for the sound, but what happens is the upload speed to you is low because it's satellite internet. So, you know, imagine like satellite phone in Jurassic Park. Aram says, everybody just don't look at the video. Yeah, I know, it throws you off big time. As I do this show in the, it smells like if you walked into a morgue, but the cooling system malfunctioned for like the whole weekend. And then the head medical examiner walks in and goes, oh my God, oh no. That's what it smells like in here. I'm reasonably sure one of two things has happened. There are either when the mouse trap springs, the mice limp away with the trap still attached to them, and they get in places that I can't see. Thus, smells like death. Doesn't take much decomposition to stink up a huge place. All right, now I thought I got it taken care of. I mean, you know, like when you walk into a place and then you get used to the smell. It doesn't smell anymore. And then you walk out for a few minutes, come back in, like, oh, God, it's still here. Because you become nose deaf. So I come in from radio job earlier today, and I walk in, I'm like, God damn it. It's nose deaf. That's all this is, nose deaf. Son of a bitch. So... all right. Or the other thing is the smell of death from when I do catch one is like permeated into the fibers of the wood that surround me. I was drinking out of a coffee cup, and it's a plastic cup. Not this one. And my first drink, holding it up to my face, and I'm not even in here. I was at the radio station. I brought in one of those to-go cups. Stays super hot. By the time I get to the radio station, it's just the right temperature, you know. And I hold it up, and I'm like, wait a minute. The fucking smell followed me. The fuck is this? So that was terrible. So I'm thinking that it's burned into things. The smell is making its way into things. That's the only thing I can think. There are people living in mud huts in like Haiti who, if they saw what it was like here. I mean, a lot of people are like, easy. You got a place you can get your spot up north. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. I'm like, look, you may think that, but like I said, there are people in Haiti who, if they came in here, they'd be like, oh, this is terrible. I want to go back to Port-au-Prince. Like after the hurricane. That's how bad it is here. The smell. Excuse me. Corey says, I am not loving this zoom in. What? What's wrong? wrong with it. I don't see any problem with it. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't have the setup right now where I have a giant table. You're just going to have to get used to it. All right? Most people that are in here, and there's only a couple dozen of you, you know, I would say 24 out of the 25 in here don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. They know that there's just a few more days of this, and then we're back to my old setup. Okay? But only you would go out of your way to point it out and complain about it. Like, I don't like something. There's something that's bothering me. I just gotta get it off my chest. It's really getting on my nerves. I don't like it that it's zoomed in. Tell me you play too many fucking video games without telling me you play too many fucking video games. You are a fucking dork. All right? That's what you are. You're a fucking tool. Jesus. Jeremy says, can you bring this camera home? The video quality seems higher resolution. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. If I think about it. Corey says, I'm glad I could help. No need to thank me. I don't know if I'd call it help. I mean, I just killed 2 minutes calling you a fucking moron. That's about it. That's the extent of your quote-unquote help. All right. This is remarkable. Yesterday, as I talked to you about yesterday, I got up here late enough on Sunday that I didn't actually get into bed, and I was all out of sorts, and I was starting to think there's something wrong with Benny. I didn't sleep well. I drank too much water on the way up. I'm old, and it was terrible. So get up 4:45, which is, I mean, I get up at 5:20, 5:30 normally, but I don't know. It seems like that extra half hour, it's compounded. And because I didn't sleep well, so I was exhausted. I got in here, and then, Benny's sick. Benny, and by the way, he's doing much better. And I was, that was very stressful getting him to the vet. And so then I had to do the free podcast in 2 parts. And then, that slowed me down dramatically. So got my work done later than I wanted to. And then, I was fucked. And after I ate something, I look at the clock. It's 7:15. And I said, you know what? I am not doing another thing. I am going back. I'm going to bed now. And my God, was that just what the doctor ordered? Oh. I woke up and I woke up at like 9:30, 10. And my body was telling me, hey, asshole, you just took a nap at the worst time possible. And I'm like, no, fuck you. And I was overriding the system saying, nope, we're going back to bed. We're going to stay in bed. I have spent the last 24 hours killing all the egg layers that are in here. There is an entire extended family of ridiculous flies, and they're huge. You may have just seen one fly through the shot. They are absolutely gigantic flies. And remember when I told you I came in here and there was one of the rotting mouse brigade on the floor, and when I removed it, underneath it, there was a massive pile of plump, squirmy maggots feasting on the corpse of the mouse. Had I not gotten here when I did and disposed of all the squirmy, plump, disgusting maggots, they would have hatched. And this place would have been consumed with flies. It would have been like Amityville fucking horror. Brandis says, staying at Fear Bunker North sounds like absolute torture. No thanks. You are correct. I mean, I can understand no thanks. But I love it. I love it here, except for the stink. If it weren't for the stink of death, which is, right now it's binding to my hair and my tongue. Aroma of corpse rot is binding to my tongue right now as we speak. I don't know if I talked about this on the free podcast or the Patreon yesterday, but I did talk about it to some degree. The story of the local kid who I think the kid is slightly fucked up, but I'm not entirely positive. Her name is Penelope Wise. Kid, she's 17. Which I don't, research law in Michigan when it comes to sex with minors. But I did learn in the comments of this story after it appeared that in Michigan, if you are 16, you can, that is the age of consent. I don't know. So, Penelope Wise, June 1, she vanishes from the home. And she wanders away, and mom and dad are freaking out. They can't find her. Just this past week, she was seen riding a bike after emerging from a house. Somebody calls it in. All right. And police investigate. There's a dude that lives at the house. He's 44. And, all right, yeah, we found her. And then the word comes down that the 17-year-old and the 44-year-old are engaged. Now, mind you, Wise, when she disappeared June 1, what they think happened is 44-year-old had a chance encounter with 17-year-old, and that was the first time they ever met. And immediately, they started to befriend each other or something like that. Kenny says 16 should not be the age of consent for this. I'm wondering what it's like in each state. Age of consent in each state. The thing that gets me is if 18 and under is, if you're 18, you're an adult, you're a legal adult. Anything under than that, you're not an adult. So how can 16 be the age of consent? If you look on this map, the light blue ones, which is most of America. Whoops. Oh, what the fuck just happened? Most of America, it's 16. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 that are 17. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, including Tennessee, that are 18. The rest, 16. So 32 states, the age of consent is 16 years old. Jeremy says, I think 16 is the age if the older party is 17 or 18. Is 17 or 18. 18 is the age of consent for when the other person is 18 plus. It's basically a Romeo and Juliet type of law. Well, that doesn't make sense. If 18 is the age of consent when the other person is 18 plus, that doesn't apply to the Penelope Wise case. I'm not sure. I don't know. But the whole idea that 44-year-old dude and 16-year-old girl are involved with each other is
new information.
Fucking crazy to me. By the way, yesterday I blew you all out with the audio. I think I have it straightened away this time. I think I have it taken care of. So let's check out what local news said about this fucking pervert. And go.
On Penelope Wise, a missing Kent County teenager who was found safe yesterday afternoon after disappearing almost 2 months ago. Tonight, investigators are saying she was willingly staying in a 44-year-old man's home in Rockford, and they were engaged. 13 on Your Side's Callie Lichter spoke with the Kent County Undersheriff and has the latest tonight from her family.
She was willingly staying with this male in the Rockford area, and that they were actively trying to evade detection. They were trying to conceal her identity and conceal her location, and weren't cooperating with law enforcement trying to
yeah, that's the other thing. The kid had been missing since June 1. Mom and dad are frantic. People are freaking out. And this fuck knows that because it was a gigantic story around here. And he doesn't do anything to say, hey, she's with me. I mean, come on. This is
hit her to reunite with her family.
The Kent County Undersheriff says they found Penny not far from where she was last seen, living in a stranger's home.
The male had located Penny the night of her disappearance in early morning hours, offered a place to stay, and then ultimately that sparked a friendship between the two, and she'd been staying with that same individual for the past 7 weeks.
Penny told investigators that she and the man developed a romantic relationship.
All right. Yeah, I don't mean to be disparaging, but if your kid, I think that kid's elevator doesn't quite go all the way to the top. No offense. Again, I don't mean disrespect. It just, I mean, I'm just going by what I see. If you're looking at that and you're like, no, she looks fine. I think the kid might be a little crackers, but I'm not 100% sure. So
relationship while living together.
We're using her words, so that's where we get that information. But they felt that they were in a strong enough relationship that they consider themselves a couple.
Even going as far as to say they were engaged. If teens are having trouble at home, the undersheriff says leaving home isn't the only route to go.
We'd always say it's not the best idea to walk around aimlessly or run away from home, but try to use those community resources, those nonprofits that are available to you.
Yeah, we don't give a shit about that. All we care about is, do we have some fucking predator? I mean, if I'm mom and dad, I would be fucking stomping this guy out.
To try to bridge that gap until you feel comfortable staying at your home or can find a permanent place to stay in your home.
Who is the 44-year-old that is now engaged to the 17-year-old? That's the only thing anybody cares about. Who was concealing where she was so that all the people that love this kid are wondering, where the fuck is she?
Penny's parents telling 13 on Your Side yesterday that they are happy she was found safe and looking forward to having her home.
We're going to tell her that we love her and that we are so grateful that she's been found. And I don't know about, I'm just very thankful that.
All right, she looks like a thumb. And I don't like these two either. They're everything about this story is fucking alarms are going off. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the haircut. Maybe that they both look like fucking twins, these two. I'm not sure.
We're going to be able to see her and wrap our arms around her.
Penny's mom did not want to speak on camera today, but on the phone she said she has not been in contact with Penny since she was taken into custody Sunday.
Yeah, they took the kid and put her like in juvie.
And Callie joins us now. Callie, will charges be filed in this investigation?
Well, Juliet, Penny is 17. The age of consent in Michigan is 16. When I spoke to the undersheriff, he said they worked with the prosecutor's office and do not believe there are any criminal charges and will be closing the case. Penny will be reunited with her family soon, but the sheriff's department wants to connect her with resources before she heads home. In the newsroom, I'm Kai Lichter, 13 on your side.
Can someone explain to me why every time, like, let's say teacher has sex with 16-year-old student. Why is teacher charged with rape? I mean, she just said, oh, yeah, age of consent, 16. Or is the problem the 16-year-old in the hypothetical that I'm throwing at you is saying, oh, no, I want to have sex with my teacher. Corey trying to get on my good side with a solid joke. That woman looks like she'd work for someone that traffics kids. No, I wouldn't go that far. Corey also adds that boring Dean has to love that the age of consent is 16. Jeremy says, everything I said about Romeo and Juliet was wrong. And you said it with such authority, too. You really did. Patrick says, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. That dude's a sicko. Of course he is. Of course he is. Chris says they haven't released the guy's name, but they did release his criminal record. Please send me that on email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. The mom and dad, Mason Blue says, definitely first cousins. Becky says, in regards to 44-year-old padlock and a sock, I just want a few swings. Mason Blue throws out guarantee that the mom and dad's elevators don't go to the top either. Nick says mom and dad are, I don't know if he means mom and dad. Regarding mom, dad, and 17-year-old, the comment, goofy as fuck looking. I think that can apply to mom, dad, and the kid. Becca says she looks a lot younger than 17. Yep. I can guarantee you this. The local cops are going to keep an eye on this guy. I mean, because if you're a 44-year-old man and at 2 a.m, you approach a wandering kid who's 17 who looks kind of fucked up, I mean, that alone, just that act, is something 99% of the population would not do. Then take it a step further. Oh, hi. Oh, well, I know you're a runaway. Well, you can stay at my place. And then take the child in and then seize for 7 weeks that they are looking for this missing kid. And then tries to keep it under wraps, doesn't tell anybody, and then by sheer act of God, somebody happens to see her when she's out riding a bike in that community. She hadn't gone far. Police finally get to the bottom of it, and oh, by the way, oh, no, you see, it's cool, we're engaged. Really? I don't know, man. It's a hideous story. And I don't, God knows what went on, in that house. All right. Well, maybe there'll be an update on this. Maybe there won't. I don't know. Kenny wants to beat the guy. This is like the type of thing that gets Kenny in his superhero mode. Anytime there's any story like this, Kenny wants to actually be the one to go, like, inflict the punishment. I mean, there's a, he's really motivated to, like, injure the guy. Jeremy, back to his, when he's talking about the Romeo and Juliet thing, he says, I was 100% convinced I was right. Bad job by me. There's been a lot of that on this show lately. And I appreciate the effort. Tyler writes, Kenny, a.k.a. The Punisher. Kenny the Punisher. Kenny the Punisher, I think, should stick. As soon as he gets pissed off, Kenny the Punisher. There's been a lot of that of, oh, my God, yeah, well, this is what's going on, and then 100% wrong. Yeah, Jeremy there, which is totally cool. You had Amanda when she said, Amanda was remarkable because on the Patreon, she said that according to her source, she heard it on that weirdo Ben Shapiro, who nobody takes seriously. No one in America takes Ben Shapiro seriously. Ben Shapiro was quoting some stupid right-wing, alt-right website and something about the Secret Service cannot fire on a bad guy unless if the bad guy fires on a president. And everybody went, that doesn't sound right at all. And she was like, yeah, it is. I know it is. Here, look at my source. And there wasn't anything. I mean, I don't know how he got it, Shapiro, and I don't know how she got it because there wasn't really anything in that stupid article. It was so fucking nuts. Then I played a clip yesterday of a representative on the roof where that actual shooter was, and he was making the case of the Secret Service, how terrible of a job they did protecting the president and all this stuff, and he's talking about various things. And then out of the blue, Amanda goes, see, hey, I told you, see? And we're like, see what? And she was going back to her first point. Secret Service can't fire unless someone fires on the president. And we're like, well, we're all watching the same video. I'm playing it, and that didn't even come up. How are you suggesting that? So we were all left scratching our heads about that. Didn't know what she was talking about. With that in mind, Aram just wrote, because that big Secret Service Senate subcommittee hearing with Kimberly Cheadle, which I'll have news about that in a second, was yesterday. And everybody really ripped her a new one. I mean, we focused on that quite a bit here. I played Jim Jordan and what's the other chick? The hot chick with the glasses. Is it Nikki Mace? Just ripping Cheadle a new one. Aram writes, I listened to the hearing and I heard multiple times testimony that is complete opposite of what Amanda's source indicated. Yeah, you know, and we didn't need them to tell us. Hell, we all knew, even when she first uttered that nonsense, that doesn't sound right at all. Are you telling me the Secret Service, why are they even there then? If they have to wait for the bad guy to shoot at the president before they can fire upon him. That's not accurate at all. Aram said the Senate put on a really good show. Yeah, that's true. The exact opposite statements are in the court records. Bob watched it too. He said the greatest line from someone, forgets who, to the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, go back to guarding Doritos. Oh, it's too bad I missed that. Tyler says, the Amanda fart mouth impression cracks me up every fucking time. where that comes from, Amanda Fartmouth, is her blurtability. She has a lot of blurtability. Like if something's on her mind, it's flying out of her mouth. Whether it's right, wrong, stupid, poignant, it doesn't matter. Someone said easy. It's Cecil with a Y. Kind of. Hey guys, this is Cecil. That's a little different. Now if Cecil gets agitated, then yes, he sounds like Amanda. But a lot of the time, Cecil with a Y sounds more like this. Sometimes he's a little bit more subdued, poor boy. That's a lot different. Hey, this is Cecil. Then, I got. There's differences to the two. They're subtle. Cecil with a Y. I got, poor boy. Corey says all the right-wingers were like, wow, AOC asked a good question for once. Kenny writes, it's even funnier if you hear it's her other set of lips speaking when he does it. Oh, Kenny. You're on fire. Kenny adds, I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me lately. Tyler says it reminds me of the Queef sisters from South Park. I don't know what that is. Chris adds, I sent the scumbags criminal history to email and text. I'll get to that. Chris says, I only get my news and facts from the podcast that does show notes in blue crayon. So true. All right. See if I can get. So the guy that Penelope Wise is engaged to, I guess he has a criminal history. Checking it out right now. We can go over it together and get to the bottom of this. Brandis, I see your email about Sonia Massey. That's a great thing to get into. We'll talk about that. So thank you. Thank you for that. Again, it doesn't take a ton, but the correspondence I get with you guys over like stories that I can talk about on the show and stuff like that. If you send me those on the Shoreliner Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com, they go a long way. All right. In 2021, this dude pleaded guilty to felony domestic violence, third offense. Ooh. He's also convicted of felony assault with intent to do great bodily harm, misdemeanor child abuse, and misdemeanor operating while impaired. So a couple of ladies were on their way to church, and they realized that the derpy, dopey-looking kid was like, hey, we recognize that kid with the fucked up face. And they turned their vehicle around. Initially, Pennywise had been standing next to the bicycle on the side closest to the street. Then by the time we turned around, she had moved to the other side and was kind of crouched behind the bike. Honey, are you okay? Honey, I called out, honey, are you okay? Recalled the driver's mom. And she looked up. She did make eye contact, and she said, yeah, I'm fine. Then she was loading the bike trailer. The driver said, she then asked the girl, do you need any help? Nope, I'm good. So she was back to doing her thing. So we rolled up the window, and I said to Mom, we got to call 911. That's that fucked up kid. They called 911. They went to church. Yeah, if you're going to call 911, I mean, it worked out in this case, but you probably want to, like, wait there. keep an eye on her if you're so concerned. A second neighbor called 911 Sunday after seeing the kid. Yeah, absolutely. Good work by them. But this story is a fucking disaster. Jeremy says, so he's a drunk wife-beating pedo. What a waste of perfectly fine air. Kenny says, oh my God, how can there not be any charges against this guy right now? Exactly. I think this is a miscarriage of justice to me. Somebody needs to beat the shit. Kenny, if Kenny the Punisher, if I can fly you here, all right, would you beat the shit out of this guy? Tyler says, 911, I think I found that missing kid. She's walking down the street with a creepy smile and a red balloon. Yeah, and that's another thing. I think we need to go back. The fact that the mom and dad, who both look like Elton John, named the kid Pennywise. I think it might have started way back then. I think there's everything is wrong. I think everybody involved with this story needs to be locked up. Maybe some type of psychological evaluation for every person involved in this story right now. Because this is a goddamn catastrophe, in my opinion. Jesus. All right. For those of you that are getting the show from here in Fear Bunker North on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to cut you loose. Chris says she's adopted. The kid's adopted. So, all right, that means that whoever put the kid up for adoption named her Pennywise. So they got to bring those people in too. And then still bring in Mr. and Mrs. Elton John because they didn't change a kid's name. I would have changed a kid's name right away. I mean, the first thing I did. Your name is no longer Pennywise. Sorry. You're going to wind up, something bad's going to happen to you because your name's Pennywise.